me, where you stand, you work for Scientists Warning Europe, you're in absolutely the best place to be to have that position.
Yes, I mean, I've got a lot of experience, and I've been working in the area heavily over the last few years. So anyway, we'll see. I mean, the discussion is not closed, but obviously, in normal senses, the dominant party would simply elect all of their own people into those positions.
Yeah, but you should be electing people into positions that can actually, you believe can do the best for the people, because these people are elected in, like you have been yourself, been elected by the people for the people. Not for their own political party persuasion and, handshakes and everything. If somebody can do better than you, from that party, then okay, I want to interview them and find out. I'd actually like to have you both together and then see how much they know, because you have a wealth of information at your fingertips, and I'm talking scientists. Mm-hmm. You are literally can call up a scientist, I know you can, and literally go, I've got this question and this is what it is, where they wouldn't really have as much as that. And we've talked about other things like with Jacob Glanville and things like that. So it's a very interesting position for you to be in. And I think anybody out there watching, maybe contact the council or maybe your MP and say, I think Ed is in the better position, unless they can explain why, to take that position. I don't see why it should go to a political party, because it's about council.
I would agree with you, and I think it would be nice to see the council taking advantage of the skills that are there, and there may well be a great environmentalist within the Conservatives. I don't actually know, because I don't know every single one of them clearly at the moment. As you know from Scientists Warning Europe, I work as the managing director there, where we represent the tens of thousands of scientists around the world that signed the 3 scientists' warnings to humanity. But in the immediate board and scientific advisory panel, there are roughly 15 top scientists, including the first deputy chairman of the IPCC, including probably the world's top scientist in relation to bees or and pollinators, Professor Dave Goulson, as well as some of the world's top climate scientists. And within Scientists Warning Europe, we did do a letter to Prime Minister Johnson, which was reported in Sky News and on various other outlets about 2 months ago, urging much more action on the climate. It was signed by 20 of the world's sort of top scientists, including Sir David King and some top scientists from Italy, which is interesting because they're, of course, hosting COP26 together with us. And the letter really urged Boris Johnson to come to be the world's leader in climate, because he can be. We're in a significant economy here. We punch well above our weight in the sort of world political PR because of English language, because of the Queen, because of Manchester United, because of the City, because of London, because of lots of different reasons. Doesn't matter where you stand on the sort of political spectrum or sporting spectrum, there's always something that will put Britain pretty much punching above its weight. And if we could take a very urgent net zero target in terms of climate, for example, 2030, and make a good effort to get there, we would lead the world. If we managed to make it, we would have developed the software and the systems and the engineering and the political will and everything else to get there. And the rest of the world would be at our doorstep buying it from us. They would want our consultants and our software and our IT and our engineering, and they'd want to know how we got there. And it would drive investments into all of these areas and then drive exports at the point we'd done it. So it would be lovely to convince them. But anyway, we wrote a letter mainly based on scientific basis and signed by actually 19 scientists and the economist Tim Jackson from Surrey University. And we also pointed out that the response at the moment that we're taking in Britain, which is to spend between 0.4 and 0.99% of GDP, of our gross domestic product, in dealing with climate change. That is proposed by the Committee on Climate Change, and that will get us to net zero in 2050. Well, that doesn't look like an emergency response to a critical situation, which will make COVID sadly look like a walk in the park. And we really need to take an emergency response like we did to COVID, move everything forward very, very fast. And we can do it at between 0.5% to 1% of GDP or under. What will it cost us if we go 2030 or 2035? We can do that for 2% of GDP. It'll still look like a pretty easy deal compared to the financial response to COVID.